NerdX here. So, with the events of Dragon Ball Super going off the air indefinitely, at the very least, if not being outright cancelled, I'm trying to... I was thinking about what can they do in the future? What can be the future of the Dragon Ball franchise? Mainstream-wise, anyways. Because, of course, they'll have their different books. There's things, the video games, Xenoverse, and they got Fighters now. Dragon Ball Heroes is big in Japan. That sort of thing. They can have that go on for quite a while. But, I mean, mainstream anime, manga, new content, canon material. For, Dragon Ball Super, Z, the whole franchise. So, the entirety. Now, I'm going to say some of the more obvious things that everybody kind of already thought, just so I can, cover those as, something that's kind of evident. Then I'm going to try and come up with some more different type of theories. So, the most obvious things that people will say is things like, oh, well, how about we have some time breaker storylines, like they do in Xenoverse or Heroes. Now, I think that's a cool idea. That would work, because the main problem, and I'm gonna say this before I go more in depth with my theories. The main problem that I feel that Super is going to be having pretty shortly is, where are they going to get strong enough people? Because they're already universe tier. They're already multiverse tier. These characters can destroy universes. So, they have to have enemies that can equally destroy as much. Not even if Zeno can easily just wipe out, universes, multiverses, really just without any effort. The Grand Priest, I'm sure, is really strong. The Angels are quite strong. But to have something at that level would be exceedingly rare, unless they start making more. They could just make it up and say, well, here's some new enemies. They're stronger than the Angels. They're as strong as them, or they can just create a tier above Zeno, because Zeno is very childish. They can just say, oh, he's immature, and there's somebody. He's controlling of this small little group of universes where there's a bigger one or something, which I would be okay with, because at least that would explain stuff. And I'm sure a lot of people have already seen that, or thought of it. Maybe if they do this, so that would work. I mean, but they need to explain it well, because if they just say, oh, well, they're stronger because they're stronger, it would be nice to have a backstory of why. Because Dragon Ball Z didn't have this problem as bad, because the characters were planetary, star level, solar system level, galactic level. They're high, for most things, but in Dragon Ball it felt realistic. So, but the difference between, say, solar system and galaxy is a lot less of a difference than you say a galaxy to a universe or a multiverse. So that's a huge jump. Now, I personally think I would like that a little better if they start a little lower, say multi-galaxy, and then maybe towards the middle, maybe right about right now. Say Tournament of Power was when they started to reach universal levels, and I'm saying started to, and the next enemies can be universal or other dimensional. But they don't, maybe they can still do other dimensional, because there is obviously levels of infinity if you know things, but if you understand dimensional tiering, which is a bit of a complicated thing. It seems cut and dry, but the easiest way you can just explain it is, to be in a dimension above whatever one it is, say it's 1 to 2, 2 to 3, you have to be an infinite form of whatever was before. So if you're third dimensional, you're infinitely two-dimensional. You know, that's how it would be, because like levels of infinity. So they can be, if Goku and Vegeta have an infinite power at this point, the infinite power for third, fourth dimensional. What about fifth? They would probably not be that strong in fifth. So they might be able to do something like that. Again, getting villains and making them a threat and interesting characters is going to be a bit of a challenge. And I like to write things myself personally. And I sometimes run into that problem when I'm writing a villain character. It tends to... I like to bolster the villain's strength a bit too much. The same problem that Kishimoto had when he was writing the ending of Naruto. When he made Madara so strong, he really didn't know how to kill him. And I tend to have that problem too. So you can't make your villains ridiculously powerful, but you can't make your heroes so powerful where they just have no challenge. Like, well, One Punch Man can get away with it because it's not, well, I don't consider it a gag. I consider it a parody. To me, that's like, what if Dragon Ball characters, you know, always used their strength, you know, instead of like suppressing themselves to like human level or whatever their opponent is, so they don't like kill them in a hit. Because honestly, if they really wanted to, like with Beerus, taps his finger on a table and destroys half a planet without even trying. So reasonably thinking, I'm sure the rest of most of the characters that got in Universal Tier can easily do that. I mean, back in the Frieza saga, they could blow up planets with ease. So they can get away with it with Saitama being so much stronger than all the enemies because it's a parody. It's like if the Dragon Ball characters didn't hold back or suppress themselves as much and just were facing the like Raditz level people. I mean, they're gonna destroy them pretty easily if they're not heavily suppressing themselves. So aside from that, because that's the whole fun of that show, though. I don't think they can just do it in another place and get away with it. Or maybe they can. I don't think so, though. But aside from that, they need to have villains that can be strong, but not too strong, and interesting. Now, I'm going to get back into my theory, because I went off explaining what needs to happen here. So, like I was saying, they could use like a time breaker thing, and because the power of that can be, you can say, well, outside of time, they've been training for so long, blah, blah. I'm sure they can make up something. So, then you got the other things like, well, you know, when they resurrect all the universes, they could have, like, somebody from the different universes be really strong, and that's why Zeno erased him, and, you know, now he can't now, or something. I don't know. They can make something up. But those are the big mainstream ones. Those are the two that I kind of hear people say a lot. So, which are pretty good. And I have no problem with them. I think if they are done right, then it would be very... I think it would be very good. I would enjoy watching it if it's done justice. Topo. Justice. But, now, something that I was more thinking of, and this comes along now before you guys exit off the video immediately from me saying this, take some cues from GT. When I say that, I mean some of the best villains of GT, the main villains, to me were, I liked Baby, and I liked the Shadow Dragons. Now, how could you do this, though, without messing something up? Now, say, the Universe 2 had a Tuffle, or a Zephyrian, whatever you prefer to call it, in their universes. They had a Yard Rat, too, which was weird. I wonder if they would explain maybe some of those people from Universe 7 escaped into a different universe after being attacked, and then they find out that there's these Saiyans or whatever still alive, and they want to get vengeance, and they build something. Because I feel like if you can build something such as Cell, he was very powerful, but you could explain it because he was built. He was built by, getting the DNA in the cells, literally, of the most powerful beings in in the galaxy at the time, or the universe, whatever you want to say. So that made sense to me. And ergo with Frieza, he was a galactic emperor. Okay, that made sense. And then you put his cells into Cell. Of course, he's going to be very powerful. So, it made sense. And then when you go on to Boo, it made sense because he was an evil being at the beginning of time. So I guess you'd say, okay, he fought the Kaioshin. That's fine. But to make a villain that involves, say, like I was saying, like someone with the being built to kill them or something like that, they can do that, like they did with Baby, and I would love to see the Golden Great Ape thing. Even if it's obvious that they took it from there, I'm okay with that. It was a really cool design. I liked Super Saiyan 4 design. If they can ever incorporate like an Ultra Instinct, this is going to be a ridiculous title, Ultra Instinct Super Saiyan Blue, 4, I mean, that would look amazing. It would be, wow, that would be incredibly powerful. I can't see anything stopping it, but they would never do that. That's just a personal thing that I would like to see, just for the sheer shock and awe factor. But even if they don't go that far and just expand on what they've already done, and they really should get back to more of the animalistic instincts of a Saiyan, or a sort of a Shadow Dragons thing, something with the Dragon Balls, make them have consequences for using them. So that's my thoughts on that. But before they go into all those heavier arcs, oh, and here's another thing. If Super were to come back, or another Dragon Ball franchise, give it a time slot where they can use violence again, where they can put more blood and more darker tones, and and not just so. When I'm seeing these characters getting punched and Goku spitting up, just like I'll just spit, or opposed to say in Z, where he was coughing up blood, or back in Dragon Ball when Piccolo would rip his arm off or something. That was another problem I had. So if they can get the darker tones on top of making more serious villains, and you have to go past the ending of Z to make it have any tension, because without that, that they're going to survive, because they didn't retcon the end of Z. If they said, no, the ending of Z doesn't happen anymore, we can keep, the idea of eventually, having Oob be born, but we don't have to per se show it per se. But even that would be a problem, because if you just got rid of that altogether and then eventually found out later that he was, Oob, about Oob, and he was a reincarnation of Kid Buu, that'd be fine. But not retconning the end of Z made the whole series kind of feel like, oh, it's cool to watch, but they're not going to die. I mean, they're probably not going to die anyways, but at least in Dragon Ball Z, Goku died for a long stretches of time. He was not there a lot. So, anyways, getting back to the main point, I think they can do it, and this whole them being off for a while is going to be a bit, annoying, because, I'm so used to watching every week, or, sometimes I take weeks off, but still, that I'm going to have to adjust to that. I'm going to have to make different content. It's fine. Let's make theory videos, or go back and watch other, either old episodes of Z, and comment on those, or maybe do some reviews of the dub. I don't know, something like that. I'll find something to do. And, of course, other anime, maybe, the comic movies, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, such and such. Anyways, I really just want to see them make good villains if they do come back, and make it make sense, and go past the end of Z, make it a bit darker and grittier, and I think that's what it needs. I think it's profitable enough to definitely do so, but we'll see. Alright, this has been NerdX signing off.